Yes, guys, how are you guys doing? So I made a little beat that has a bit of a old school jungly, almost a bit of a Ronnie Size influence, if I'm honest. Yeah, I just really love this style of jungle-y D&B, and yeah, I just wanted to make something like this, and just going to break down this loop for you guys that I've created, and hopefully give you guys some inspiration as well. So here's how the loop sounds. Let's go. Just really in this sort of jungly vibe at the moment. I can't get out of it, but it's quite a good place to be in. Anyway, these are the drums that I used on the most recent YouTube video as well. So I haven't really changed them up if you want to check that one out if you missed it. I just basically chopped up a break to make some sort of ghost hits, and then I chopped up two other breaks to get some sort of cymbal loops out of it. And I just sort of layered them on top, so it's sort of like a bunch of breaks put together. And so the drums are the same, right? But I've used Serum again to create these three sounds to give me that old school jungly upright bass kind of feeling, you know? So let's break those down, right? We'll start with the main one. The main one here is the bass down here. Look at this. All of this joy is done in the sort of melody as well. I recorded myself playing this in. I was just jamming out like with with my right hand. Sort of, yeah, starts at D and it sort of climbs up, goes up to this area sort of around A sharp and B. And I kind of played in this nice fast little part here, which really adds a lot of vibe, right? Like it's got this lovely little glide down thing that happens there, you know? You can see the midis sort of overlap. That's because I sort of recorded it in pretty haphazardly. They're probably not actually all playing because it's the glide is turned on. I think it's on one voice, so I'm not actually sure which note you're going to actually hear, but that's the result of me playing it in, you know? But yeah, and then it has this little fast bit where it sort of drops down to C and then goes back to D again. D's the kind of root note here, you know? It goes D and then it actually starts with the D sharp, so it's sort of semitone play, you know? D sharp down to D. And then G, A sharp, and then this gliding back down to G. But yeah, it's not so important anyway. I just jammed it in with my right hand, you know? Just repeats, but let's talk about the sound design. So it was actually a great instrument that's sort of native to Serum, and it's it's under the multi-sample section, and then you've got the under the bass, you've got the bass pluck here, and it just sounds really, really nice on its own. I haven't had to do too much to it, to be honest. That's great, isn't it? So it just has this it's got a great like bass plucky sound, so it does all of the mid-range and high end for me. Haven't had to do anything. I just sort of turned the timbre up because here, different kind of vibe, and I like that timbre quite high. It gave me that, it's a bit more slappy, a bit more plucky, a bit more texture on it. And so I just fattened it up with a sub bass underneath, right, -2, so you can really hear that bass underneath it. Great sort of hybrid sound, you know, synth bass and this sort of bass pluck in the multi-sample section. And then that was pretty much it, really. I just added a couple of effects. I put in a little chorus around 29%. Gives it a nice little stereo feeling. And a touch of reverb, 22%. Puts it in a nice hole, so it's a bit more natural, you know, and then it already sounds great just like that, you know. Important to get a nice melody going on something like that, you know, nice and funky and expressive. So I just played around for a few minutes and came up with that, and I was pretty happy with that one, to be fair. But then we wanted to add some more sounds, right? So next I got this thinking in contrasts as well. So the bass very expressive, lots of crazy melodic variation, right? So these chord stabs, quite the opposite, very simple, easy to follow, just staying on one note, just on that D, and they just sort of hit on the, I think sort of on the snare, isn't it? You're sort of just playing on the snare. And these again are pretty great, you know, easy thing to create in Serum. I did use a bit more effects on these guys just because I wanted to sort of mix them in a bit more, but basically it's just, again, one sort of sample, and it's from the Spectral folder. Okay, the Spectral folder, and you've got these wonderful piano chords. E piano chord here. Sounds really nice. Again, with the scan, you can sort of control the speed, the vibe, the sort of whether it's going forwards or backwards and all that stuff, you know, just on one shot mode, the Spectral mode here. And but I've just left it at one shot and the scan at 69, so it just plays normally kind of from the start. Okay, I did a little bit of work on the envelope as well to give it a bit more of a volume shape. So just a quick attack, and then the sustain comes down to sort of -8, and then it's got a nice long release on as well. Okay, so yeah, sounding nice like that already, but it just needs a lot of effects to, yeah, really mix it into the track, you know. So first a bit of chorus again, 34%. Then I've done a convolution reverb. And it's a weird one. So it's one of my ones that I've recorded. I've already talked about this before, but I made a bunch of convolution reverbs on Patreon, and I dropped them on there as a free download. I think just sort of 10 convolution reverb sounds that I made by running some Foley through the Space Blender, and then these guys just at 12%. But you got this nice sort of harmonic tone that happens after the chord stab, you know. Another whole reverb. I really prefer the whole mode out of all of them on the Serum reverb unit. Bit of dimension for that reverb, extra reverb edge, and the hyper as well. Putting in that sort of natural detuning sound into it as well. Then a ping pong delay. Done off the grid here, so we've got these nice like offbeat delays left and right, you know, really, really nice there, 32%, and then a little bowed at the end. Sort of extra reverb, stereo sort of stuff, you know. It's quite a subtle one there, but that's basically the stabs. I've made these little stabs with they kind of needed all that extra reverb and delay to make them a bit longer, you know. So they kind of fit in the mix a lot nicer now. Especially with these nice sort of delay tails, you know. I just took out a little bit of low end of those just to make room for the bass a little bit more. But they mostly live up in the mid-range anyway, you know, so they kind of work quite nicely with the bass, I think. So all made in Serum, and then I've got one more little sound in Serum, another little, yeah, really, really subtle kind of thing here. And this is another sample that's already in Serum, and it's sort of the bowed, B-O-W-E-D, the Morin Core Sustained. This is actually a really great sample. Sort of a Middle Eastern, Asian sustained bowed instrument. Sounds like, I think it's probably something Mongolian by the sound of it, something like that, you know. But yeah, I love these kind of sounds. Sounds really nice low as well. I did actually take out the low end already for the mix down, but it's got a lot of bass in this one. And for this guy, again, I just used it as it was, and then I just plopped on a few effects here. Same kind of things as before with the stabs, really, like a chorus, a convolution reverb, one of my special ones here, the gain box, then a big hall reverb again. And then also another ping pong delay, also sort of off the grid. And so I just have these like 3 notes, and they're really off the grid as well here, and they just happen to sit in a nice spot. So they add like another rhythm that's sort of set on a separate line to the other 2 bits, right? Because obviously that first bass, it's just kind of all over the place, doing its thing consistently, right? Then those stabs are like consistent, but with more space in between, so they leave like a bit of a gap. But they're also consistently going through the whole like 4 bars always, you know. And then, but for this guy, it kind of just happens on the first and then the third bar, so it kind of opens it up a bit more, you know. It opens up the sort of composition a bit more. So it's just really like how they sort of sit, and especially because they're like sort of really off the grid, they give you that sort of timing, like natural feeling, you know what I mean? So that really opens up the composition, in my opinion, that last kind of sound here, these little bowed stabs. And I put in another couple of sound effects. This is one of my favourite samples, actually. This is a sort of arrow being shot into some wood with a bunch of reverb on. So it's a nice natural Foley sound, and it's got a kind of wooden texture on it as well, you know. So it kind of fits a little bit with the double bass, or the upright bass, because it's sort of a wooden. It kind of got a wooden sound. I always imagine that it has, you know, it's made of wood, isn't it? Yeah. So yeah, I think it sounds really nice at the beginning there. Also helps to open up the kind of depth in the track as well, because of all the reverb that's on it. So it just sort of repeats every 4 bars, right? And then finally, I've done one last little kind of a percussion effect on the whole lot, and that is these lovely wood blocks. Getting even more jungly and tribal, and I love that. Kind of starts off with the high one, and they're sort of 4/4, you know. So you sort of have the first one on the kick, and then the sort of lower one is bang in the middle, where there's no kick or snare. It's just where there's sort of a gap where the hats are playing. So it kind of just sits there in the beat. So again, it kind of opens up the track a bit more, because it's also doing its own thing, like in the timing. It's kind of like adding another layer of sort of timing to the whole song, you know. Because if you just play it sort of with the with the Serum patches here. So it's really nice vibe going on now, because the bass is kind of really funky, doing its thing. The wood blocks are kind of doing this like consistent stomping kind of rhythm. You've got these stabs doing this sort of offbeat pattern on the snare always, you know. And then you've got this really off the grid just happens like occasionally. So it's sort of like 4 rhythmical kind of ideas all coming together, but I think they come together really well, don't you think? So very, very musical composition, I reckon, this one. And yeah, it just kind of works really great with that jungle beat, in my opinion. So yeah, there you have it. It's just sort of some compositional inspiration for you guys, really. At the end of the day, like do you guys think I should finish this track? Do you think it's got potential? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. But hopefully, if not, you know, at least you got a little bit of inspiration from this video. Perhaps you've wanted to do something in this vibe, or perhaps you're working on some sort of jungle, and you want to think about what other elements you can use and how to sort of, you know, compose multiple kind of leads and rhythms like sort of at the same time, and just sort of paying attention to the contrasts, you know, in the sort of timing between everything. Because when you get those sort of different timings happening on like 3 or 4 instruments, then you get this like and you do it well, then you create this really, you know, great vibe in the sort of whole rhythm arrangement of the track, you know. So I think that's cool, and they were all made, you know, just with basic Serum sounds as well. So it's really, really nice. Yeah, really nice stabs, really nice bass. Then there's really nice kind of bowed instrument. yeah, I think just super simple to make in Serum, and just kind of all works together. Like they kind of just fit well together with each other, don't they? So yeah, anyway, hope that just a bit of a fun video today, Modgies. I hope it was a little bit of inspiration for you guys. Hope you guys have a pleasant rest of your day, evening, wherever you are in the world. Much love as always, and yeah, thanks a lot. Leave a comment down below, hit the like button, subscribe, check out the links in my videos as well. I've got preset packs for Serum, Vital, Faceplant and Current on my website. I've got a great Patreon community as well. If you want to come and join us there, you can join as a free member, get some free downloads, and subscribe to Discord later on if you like as well, and get in our group chat. We do feedback live streams and that kind of stuff. And yeah, if you guys want mixing and mastering done on any of your tracks, feel free to send me an email. Or if you want to have a one-on-one lesson as well, I do mentorship as well. You can hit me up for that. You can just email me if you need any more information on that, or just feel free to book something in if you like as well. My calendar is linked down below. All right, that's it from me today. More from me very soon. Much love.